idea, Josh.
Do tell.
I'm gonna go in each one of the voices to see which one's the funniest.
Okay.
Here's the baby. That was weird. Alright, here's blocks, whatever that one is. Hey, wait, I have something funny I need to say, Josh.
Hold on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey. I can't. Howard. I see.
Yeah, that's what you need. Not you, Ken. Get out.
I have something I have to say in the baby voice.
Please, do.
Please, Daddy, not the bottom of
I've always wanted to say that. Wait, no, I don't. What the heck?
I didn't even understand what you said.
Please, Daddy, not my bottom of I don't know what I said either.
Ooh, oh. Yeah.
It got wet.
I'm just looking through social media, as I do, and I saw a picture of a guy showing off his jacket. Well, it looked like he was just turning around peeing in a urinal. That's all it looked like he was doing.
This is the sound you hear. Singing in the shower. Same. Everybody sing. This one you're supposed to sing with, but block sounds better.
Just say, ooh, yeah.
Ooh, ah, oobity bop bop.
Yandere Simulator is supported by the following sponsors.
Cool.
Are you playing Yandere Simulator?
Yeah, for the first time.
But you're actually playing Yandere Simulator.
I did not hear what you said.
I was asking if you were actually playing Yandere Simulator.
Oh yeah, I got it just now.
I've been meaning to re-download it, but
Yeah. I haven't played it at all, so
yeah.
as one does.
Yeah.
Can't believe I've never played Yandere Simulator, but I played I Love You, Colonel Sanders.
Ain't nothing but a thing, man.
Shit. Frat boy, more like your mom's toy. You want to see these concerts? You done?
Hello?
Who's there?
I'm scared. I think I'm in the sewer, dude. I hope no one flushes the toilet. Oh, God!
Something I really want to try on there. But I don't have the thing, the voice editing thing. Whatever it is.
Wait, what did you want?
Okay, so like in the echo mode, they're just like, oh no, what are you doing? Please, stop! And then you hear, wah, 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 wah.
Wait, what?
You know, he's like, it's like, no, don't touch me there. Wah, 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 wah. Good grief.
Hello? Who are you? Hello? Hey.
Was he the clicker?
No, I think he was just walking towards us. Dude, run, run! He did his best.
Wah, 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 wah. Please, no! Wah, 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 wah. Stop it, please, no! Wah, 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 wah. Good grief.
What are you doing? Oh. No, please, no! No, good grief! No.
Do 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 do. Ah! Where are you going?
I don't know while I'm in this cave. Well, this is happening.
Oh. Oh.
Good gay faggot. Oh, that was really good.
It's at 1.1 gigabytes right now.
1.1.2.1. Hello?
Hello. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How about you, boo?
Pretty good. How are you?
Ain't no thing.
Bro.
Hey, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Hello. I think I like this one. That way when you're playing a video game, you get lost. You're like, hello! Sounds like a car going through time really bad.
Man, this is a sure.
Daddy.
No, please, don't. Please,
What?
please, no.
I need Daddy.
Yeah. Dude, dude, you can become a hip hop star with that thing.
You could. Daddy. Our daddy. Give it to me. The laughing makes it funny.
Bum 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 bum.
Oh!
Bum 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 bum. Mr. Santa, bring me a drink. Bum 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 bum. Making the cutest that I've ever seen. Hee-haw.
Bum bum bum. Bum-be-doo-be-da.
Do-be-da-do-ba-do. Do-be-da-boo-ba-do.
Oh, yeah, Daddy.
Oh, yeah, Daddy. That one's weird. Oh, yeah, Daddy.
Oh, snap.
Hey, hey. What'd you say?
Oh, snap.
Oh.
Snap. Oh.
Whoa, we're at 1.3 gigabyte, boys.
No. Mommy. Lord. On a quest to find penis of Josh. Search.
You have no clue how fine that was. All I hear
That's
is in a quest
What?
to find penis.
Wait, what did you say?
All I hear is in a quest to find penis.
Oh god.
On a quest to Josh. Search.
Penis.
Did you hear all of it that time?
No.
What did you hear?
Something like on a quest to find Peen, and then like cut out for a few minutes.
I wonder why it cuts out. Let me see what's going on here.
Because we're finding Peen.
Yeah, that's what it is. Let me turn down my own volume. Yeah. Hopefully this works.
I need to not pick up my phone. I need to go to.
Oh. Hey,
You know how it is.
that'll be alright.
Sweet.
Sweet. Oh, child of mine. Alright, let me try this one more time.
World. So. Yes.
In a world. Ass. That's all I heard.
That's a good one, actually. I should try that.
One. It's just the music is so loud. It cuts my voice out. Can you believe that? I got a good idea. World. Ass. In a world surrounded by Joshes, one girl is about to get breakfast.
Dude.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
In a world with when a man gets his own ass.
Hey man, you know whenever you go to do a threesome and the girl never shows. You know that weird aftertaste you get in your mouth after making out with a man?
Nope.
Say, wanna find out? Cause I do. Seems to work pretty good for the most part. I like it.
Works pretty good for the most part. Not this one. This one's a little. Yeah, I know. It's okay. Imagine what you could do in VR chat with this.
I would be terrified.
I'm trying to look for one that actually makes you a woman. Oh, there is one. Okay, never mind. I I just would have to pay, but I don't have any money at the moment. Like, oh my god. What was that? No, seriously, that's what I heard.
Yoda died. You know, that's what we need right now. We just need a little bit Yoda in our life. When Rhythmbot doesn't want to work for you today.
That's sad.
Seems like Rhythmbot doesn't want to.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Rhythmbot, what do I pay you for? You don't pay me anything. Yeah, but what do I pay you for?
Otis Species doesn't actually have a name, as George Lucas and other Star Wars creators, including directors and writers, simply only refer to it as, again, Yoda's species. But for today's video, I wanted to discuss truly everything we know about Yoda's
I don't
species.
know, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
So long.
I met him in a swamp down in Dagobah, where it bubbles all the time like a giant carbonated soda. S-O-D-A soda. I saw the little runt sitting there on a log. I asked him his name and in a raspy voice he said Yoda. Y-O-D-A Yoda. Yo-yo, yo-yo, Yoda. I've seen a guy who looks like a Muppet, but he's wrinkled and green. Oh my Yoda, yo 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 Yoda.
That one's very loud, by the way, Josh.
But I can't understand how he can lift me in the air just by raising his hand.
Yoda screaming thing. Like, it literally, like, I threw my headphones across the room. My mom was in here too, asking me if there was anything I needed to talk to her about before she went to bed. And she just started laughing because all she hears from the other side of the room is like, ah!
Home just a week before, and I've never ever had a Jedi before. But Obi-Wan, he set me straight, of course. He said, go to Yoda and I'll show you the Force. Well, I'm not the kind that would argue with Ben Solo.
I always shoot myself. Yo yo yo, my Yoda.
Oh, you know what time it's close to?
Egyptian sky. And I said, yeah.
Yes.
You can get anything you want at Allison Restaurant.
This song is called Alice's Restaurant. It's about Alice and the restaurant. But Alice's Restaurant is not the name of the restaurant, that's just the name of the song. And that's why I called the song Alice's Restaurant.
Sounds about right.
You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. And you can get
I can't even hear you right now,
you
by the way,
want at Alice's Restaurant.
I couldn't hear you.
Now it all started 2 Thanksgivings ago. It was on 2 years ago on Thanksgiving when my friend and I went up to visit Alice at the restaurant. But Alice doesn't live in the restaurant. She lives in the church nearby the restaurant in the bell tower with her husband Ray and Facha the dog. And living in the bell tower like that, they got a lot of room downstairs where the pews used to be, and having all that room, seen as how they took out all the pews, they decided that they didn't have to take out their garbage for a long time. We got up there, we found all the garbage in there, and we decided it'd be a friendly gesture for us to take the garbage down to the city dump. So we took the half a ton of garbage, put it in the back of a red VW microbus, took shovels and rakes and implements of destruction, and headed on toward the city dump. Well, we got there, and there's a big sign and a chain across the dump saying closed on Thanksgiving. And we had never heard of a dump closed on Thanksgiving before, and with tears in our eyes we drove off into the sunset looking for another place to put the garbage. We didn't find one till we came to a side road, and off the side of the side road was another 15-foot cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff was another pile of garbage, and we decided that one big pile was better than 2 little piles, and rather than bring that one up, we decided to throw ours down. That's what we did. Drove back to the church, had a Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, went to sleep and didn't get up until the next morning when we got a phone call from Officer Obie. Said, "Kid, we found your name on an envelope at the bottom of a half a ton of garbage, and just wanted to know if you had any information about it." And I said, "Yes, sir, Officer Obie, cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope under that garbage." After speaking to Obie for about 45 minutes on the telephone, we finally arrived at the truth of the matter and said that we had to go down and pick up the garbage, and also had to go down and speak to him at the police officer station. So we got in the red VW microbus with the shovels and rakes and implements of destruction, headed on toward the police officer station. Now, friends, there was only 1 or 2 things that Obie could have done at the police station, and the first was that he could have given us a medal for being so brave and honest on the telephone, which wasn't very likely, and we didn't expect it. Another thing was that it could have bawled us out and told us never to be seen driving garbage around the vicinity again, which is what we expected. But when we got to the police officer station, there was a third possibility that we hadn't even counted upon, and we was both immediately arrested, handcuffed. And I said, Obie, I don't think I can pick up the garbage with these handcuffs on. He said, shut up, kid. Get in the back of the patrol car, and that's what we did. Sat in the back of the patrol car and drove to the, quote, scene of the crime, unquote. I want to tell you about the town of Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where this happened here. They got 3 stop signs, 2 police officers and 1 police car. But when we got to the scene of the crime, there was 5 police officers and 3 police cars, being the biggest crime of the last 50 years, and everybody wanted to get in the newspaper story about it. And they was using up all kinds of cop equipment that they had hanging around the police officer station. They was taking plastic tire track footprints, dog-smelling prints, and they took 27 8x10 colored glossy photographs with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. Took pictures of the approach, the getaway, the northwest corner, the southwest corner, and that's not to mention the aerial photography. After the ordeal, we went back to the jail. Obie said he was going to put us in the cell. Said, kid, I'm going to put you in the cell. I want your wallet and your belt. And I said, Obie, I can understand you want my wallet so I don't have any money to spend in the cell, but what do you want my belt for? And it said, kid, we don't want any hangings. I said, Obie, did you think I was going to hang myself for littering? Obie said he was making sure, and friends Obie was, because he took out the toilet seat so I couldn't hit myself over the head and drown. And he took out the toilet paper so I couldn't bend the bars, roll the toilet paper out the window, slide down the roll, and have an escape. Obie was making sure, and it was about 4 or 5 hours later that Alice, remember Alice? It's a song about Alice. Alice came by and with a few nasty words to Obie on the side, bailed us out of jail. We went back to the church, had another Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, and didn't get up until the next morning when we all had to go to court. We walked in, sat down. Obie came in with the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back each one. Sat down. Man came in, said, all rise. We all stood up, and Obie stood up with the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures, and the judge walked in, sat down with the seeing-eyed dog. He sat down. We sat down. Obie looked at the seeing-eyed dog. Then the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, and looked at the seeing-eyed dog. And then the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, and began to cry, because Obie came to the realization that it was a typical case of American blind justice, and there wasn't nothing he could do about it. And the judge wasn't going to look at the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. And we was fined $50 and had to pick up the garbage in the snow, but that's not what I came to tell you about.
What?
Came to talk about
Sorry,
the
I
crime.
can't hear a single thing that you just said.
We got a building down New York City. It's called Whitehall Street, where you walk in and you get injected, inspected, detected, infected, neglected, and selected. I went down to get my physical examination one day, and I walked in, sat down, got good and drunk the night before, so I looked and felt my best when I went in that morning. Because I wanted to look like the all-American kid from New York City. Man, I wanted to feel like I wanted to be the all-American kid from New York, and I walked in, sat down, I was hung down, brung down, hung up, and all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things. And I walked in, I sat down, and gave me a piece of paper, said, kid, see the psychiatrist, room 604. And I went up there, I said, shrink. I want to kill. I mean, I want to kill. I want to see blood and gore and guts and veins in my teeth. Eat dead, burnt bodies. I mean, kill. And I started jumping up and down, yelling, kill. And it started jumping up and down with me, and we was both jumping up and down, yelling, kill. And the sergeant came over, pinned the medal on me, set me down the hall, said, you're our boy. Didn't feel too good about it. Proceeded on down the hall, getting more injections, inspections, detections, neglections, and all kinds of stuff that they was doing to me at the thing there. And I was there for 2 hours. 3 hours, 4 hours. I was there for a long time, going through all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things, and I was just having a tough time there. And they was inspecting, injecting every single part of me, and they wasn't leaving no part untouched. Proceeded through, and when I finally came to see the very last man, I walked in, sat down after a whole big thing there, and I walked up and said, what do you want? He said, kid, we only got one question. Have you ever been arrested? And I proceeded to tell him the story of Alice's Restaurant Massacre with full orchestration and 5-part harmony and stuff like that, and then other phenomena. Stopped me right there and said, kid, did you ever go to court? I proceeded to tell him the story of the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one. That stopped me right there and said, kid, I want you to go over and sit down on that bench that says Group W. Now, kid. And I walked over to the bench there, and there's Group W is where they put you if you may not be moral enough to join the army after committing your special crime. And there was all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly-looking people on the bench there. There's mother rapers, father stabbers, father rapers sitting right there on the bench next to me, and one, they was mean and nasty and ugly and horrible and crime-fighting guys was sitting there on the bench. And the meanest, ugliest, nastiest one, the meanest father raper of them all, was coming over to me, and he was mean and ugly and nasty and horrible and all kinds of things. And he sat down next to me and said, kid, what'd you get? I said, I didn't get nothing. I had to pay $50 and pick up the garbage. I said, what were you arrested for, kid? And I said, littering. And they all moved away from me on the bench there to carry eyeball and all kinds of mean, nasty things, till I said, and creating a nuisance. And they all came back, shook my hand, and we had a great time on the bench talking about crime, mother stabbing, father raping, all kinds of groovy things that we was talking about on the bench. And everything was fine. We were smoking cigarettes and all kinds of things until the sergeant came over. Had some paper in his hand, held it up and said, kids, this piece of paper's got 47 words, 37 sentences, 58 words. We want to know details of the crime, time, the crime, and that kind of thing. You got to say up about the crime, want to know the rest of the officer's name, and that kind of thing. You got to say, and it talked for 45 minutes, and nobody understood a word that he said, but we had fun filling out the forms and playing with the pencils on the bench there. And I filled out the massacre with the 4-part harmony and wrote it down there just like it was, and everything was fine, and I put down a pencil and I turned over the piece of paper, and there on the other side, in the middle of the other side, away from everything else on the other side, in parentheses, capital letters, quotated, read the following words. Kid, you rehabilitated yourself. I went over to the sergeant and said, Sergeant, you've got a lot of damn gall to ask me if I've rehabilitated myself. I'm sitting here on a bench. I'm sitting here on the Group W bench. 'Cause you want to know if I'm moral enough to join army, burn women, kids, houses, and villages after being a litter bug. He looked at me and said, Kid, you don't like your kind. And we're gonna send your fingerprints off to Washington, and friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in some little folders, a study in black and white of my fingerprints. And the only reason I'm singing you the song now is because you may know somebody in a similar situation. Or you may be in a similar situation. And if you're in a situation like that, there's only one thing you can do, is walk into the shrink wherever you are. Just walk in and say, shrink. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant and walk out. You know, if just one person does it, they may think he's really sick and they won't take him. And if two people do it in harmony, they think they're both faggots and it won't take either of them. And if three people do it, can you imagine three people walking in, singing a bar, Alice's restaurant, and walking out? They may think it's an organization. And can you imagine 50 people a day? I said 50 people a day walking in, singing a bar, Alice's restaurant, and walking out. And friends, they may think it's a movement. And that's what it is. The Alice's Restaurant Anti-Massacre Movement. And all you gotta do to join is to sing it the next time it comes around on the guitar. With feeling. So we'll wait till it comes around on the guitar here. Sing it when it does. Here it comes. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. And you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. That was horrible. You want to end war and stuff, you gotta sing loud. You can put a lot. I've been singing this song now for 25 minutes. I could sing it for another 25 minutes. I'm not proud or tired. So we'll wait till it comes around again, and this time with 4-part harmony and feeling. We're just waiting for it to come around is what we're doing. Alright now. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Excepting Alice, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. So walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. And you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Da 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 da. At Alice's